National Defense Authorization Act, that would have been disastrous for deterrence. Because ultimately, what do you want the military to do, right? You want the military to deter conflict, right? It was George Washington who said that being prepared for war is the most effectual means of preserving peace, right? And then, of course, you want your sons and daughters who are in the military to be able to respond with what they need to fight, right? To fight and win, right? If deterrence fails.
One of the most controversial ideas that's floated about when it comes to the military is the idea of compulsory service.
Yeah.
And obviously some countries have this. Famously, Israel has this. And it seems to, I mean, I'm not saying I'm a proponent or an opponent of it, but it seems to foster a level of patriotism in Israel that is not necessarily present in all of America. It's present in a lot of America, but there's certain parts of America, like, look, I had an American flag in my LA studio behind me, right. And someone accused me of being racist for having an American flag behind me. Which is one of the craziest things I've ever heard in my life. Like, what? Oh, it says a lot about you that you have an American flag behind you. Like, bitch, you live in America. The fuck are you talking about? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, America's all of us. It's supposed to be a community. Like this, that flag to me represents opportunity and freedom and a community. It doesn't represent the worst aspects of what the American regimes have done. It represents the best of what we are as a whole. Do you think that there is a place for the discussion of compulsory enrollment and like that service, whatever a year term or something like that, and even if it's not compulsory, even if you're not required to do it, that there might be some great incentive that would go along with a short stint in the military that, of course, you could lead to a career in the military if you so chose, but that you would say to people that there's some benefit to doing this, and it'll give us a better understanding of what it really truly means to serve, what it truly means to be a part of this military, and what it truly means to be a part of America.
Yeah, I think those are all the advantages. I mean, those are clear advantages, right, to compulsory service. But I think that what, of course, is difficult in the military is you need to build an organization that can fight, right?
Right.
And what's amazing about our military are the young men and women who join our military. I'll tell you, I mean, anybody who doubts really the direction our country's taking or our future just needs to go visit like an army platoon or company or and talk to those people who have volunteered to serve their country. They're phenomenal people, and I'll tell you, the younger generation is they're much pilloried, man. They're always criticized as this or that or. I'll tell you, I mean, those, some 17, but 18, 19-year-olds. When I command at Fort Benning, Georgia, right, which is kind of the, it's a gem in the Army. It's where we train all of our infantry, armor, and cavalry forces. And when those basic training graduations, man, I mean, anybody goes, if you're around Columbus, Georgia, go to one of those, right? They're right off post by the National Infantry Museum and Museum of the Soldier there. That's a great spot to visit. And so I think that what Americans should understand, first of all, are the tremendous rewards of service, right? I think, Joe, like this whole, I call it the valorization of victimhood, right? Where I think that the perspective people have on soldiers, on servicemen and women, is that they're kind of hapless, victims of circumstance, that they don't exercise agency, right, and demonstrate combat prowess because we don't cover any of that anymore. Right. And American soldiers are warriors who are committed to each other and they're committed to a mission bigger than themselves. And what you see is what you're alluding to in terms of like the cohesion that builds. I mean, people come from all over the country, right? They come from all different, backgrounds, identity categories, whatever. And of course, they're going to bring with them certain prejudices and biases. But I'll tell you, when you put people together in a challenging circumstance, and they have to rely on each other as a team, they all that melts away, right? And they judge each other by their character and their toughness and their courage, right? And their selflessness and their sense of honor, right? Their willingness to sacrifice. That's the warrior ethos that binds these organizations